process, and the another command is start service, and the another command is remove item. So in this command get process, so get is verb and process is noun, and start is verb and the service is noun, and the remove is verb and its item is noun. So how PowerShell works is it's a verb hyphen noun format, and commandlet are powerful because they work with the objects, not text. So I'll show you some more examples like get process. So we will get all the processes and then get member. So this shows you all the properties and method of the process objects. You can use pipeline to pass output from one commandlet to another. So this is like the PowerShell. So I'm giving you more examples. Like first of all, we have to use get service. So we will get all the services here. Then I'm using the pipeline, and then we'll filter the object like we have object, and we have to define what we want. So like I'm using status equal to is running. We have to close this, then use pipe sign and select object name and status. So first of all, we'll get all the services here. Then we use pipe sign. Then we'll filter the running services only. And then we use the pipe sign again. And then we'll show the name and the status of the service. So we have to use two pipelines here to filter the object. So first of all, we'll get all the data. Then we'll filter with the running services. And then we'll show the result only with the name and status only. So how this with pipeline services, we can filter the data. Just me then just run the script and show you the result. So you can see we will get only running services here because we have used the pipelines to filter the data here. So this is the one of the example, and variables we can use in the PowerShells. So I'll show you some variables examples as well. So let me just first clean this. So for clean, you can use CLS. CLS will clean the PowerShell screen. So now let's talk about the variables. So in PowerShell, basically variables are used to store and manage data that can be reused throughout the script session. So every variable is PowerShell begins with the dollar sign, like I'm just showing you to here. So followed by the name that you define, like I'm just creating a variable here, for example, and it's date, and equal to is get date. So once I call this variable, it will give me the data equal to this variable. So let's give me an example, like I'm calling this variable, and once I run this script, so you can see the data. The date is here because I have just entered get date. So you can use variables like this. So these variables can hold not just plain text but also complex objects, numbers, arrays, and even the output of the commandlets. So let me just give you one more example. So like if I'm creating a variable here for name, and the value is, and once I call the name here, it will give me the similar value which is we have typed next to the variable. So here the name value is this one, and we can see the output result here. So these are the variables. Variables in PowerShell, they start with the dollar signs, and they uh, contain the value equal to the whatever value is there. So now let's move to one of the most common tasks, like managing files and folders. So PowerShell can navigate directories like CMD, but it's far more flexible. So I'll give you a demo. Like if you want to get the child items, then we have to use get child item, and then we have to define the path, and whatever path we have, like I'm getting the downloads, then we have to select and run this command. So you will get all the child items here. You can set the location as well with set location. These are the examples only. So like if you want to set the location of the path, you can set the location. And if you want to create a new file, then you can use new item. Then you have to define the path where you want to create the file. And then you have to, like if you want to create a file on C directory, so I'll just copy this URL. And if you want to create a new file on downloads with name new file dot text, so this is the command. This will create a new file in the downloads folder. If you want to copy files or folders, then use copy item. If you want to delete something, then you can use remove item. So these are the uh, demo commands, so you can use these commands. Even you can even automate the file cleanup or backups as well. For example, if you want to delete the logs files older than 30 days, then you can use get child item. Then you have to define the file path, like the file is in C drive and the file name is logs. You can replace your uh, path with the actual file. Then you have to use recurse. Recurse is basically search the file with the subfolders as well. Then you have to use include, like we have to define the extension here. Then we have to use where object, and we have to define the condition like last write time. Then we have to get the date. With this we will get the exact date. Then we have to add days, like I told you, we will delete the files older than 30 days. Then we have to use add days, and we have to define 30, and we have to close this and then filter and remove item we will use. So, and we can save this PowerShell script and add to the task scheduler. So these C drive logs will delete automatically once this script will run. So these are the examples for managing the file system. So now let's move on to the Active Directory management. So we can manage the Active Directory, on-premises Active Directory with PowerShell as well. So like if you want to create or if you want like to create a new user, delete a new user, disable, enable, and if you want to get the data of the OUs and the users at the computers, you can manage the whole segment with this PowerShell. So first of all, we have to install the Active Directory module. So for that, I'm just sharing the command here, like install module. Name is Active Directory. So this module is already installed in my computer, so I'm not going to install this. After installing this, we have to import the module, and the command is import module, and your Active Directory module will be installed in this computer. So we can get the AD user with this module. We can get the AD computer as well if you want to manage any computer on the user. These are the basic command, and also we can create the user as well. Like we have a new user to create into the Active Directory, and we don't want to go to the server and create the user. So with PowerShell also we can create the user. So I'm just sharing you the command. So like we have to use a new AD user. This is the command. Then we have to define the name here, like name, and we have to define the name, like I'm just putting a random name. Then we have to define the same account name, like you can choose your name and your data. Then we have to define the user principal name, like @. This is your domain. Like my domain is, this is the dummy data. Like my domain is domain dot local. This is my domain. So we have to define this. Then we have to define the path. Like we have to define the OU path here. OU path. First of all, we have to define the OU. Like my OU is users. Then we have to define the DC. This is stand for domain controller. So like my DC is domain. And then we have to define the DC, like my DC is local. Then we have to define the account password, and we have to convert the password, convert to secure string. Secure string. And then we have to define the password here, like my password is password123. Then we have to set as plain text, and we have to use force. We have to close this, and enabled is true. So this is the command. This will create the single user. That detail we have mentioned here, like these are the details. So with this command, we can create a single user on our on premises Active Directory. So now come to the next command. If you have to create the multiple users, like we have 20, 30, 100 users, we have to create with single command. That we also can do with the PowerShell. So like we have the details like first name, last name, user principal name, same account number in the CSV file. Then how can we do that? So let me just share the command here. Like it's import CSV. First of all, we have to import the CSV, and we have to define the CSV. Like my CSV is in C, and the file name is new users.csv. So like this is my file name. Then we have to use for each object, and then we have to enter the command in this. So like we have to use the same thing here, like new AD user. We have to define the name, and we have to define the name here. We are using the dollar sign underscore dot and the header of the name parameter, the name. And then we have to use the same command again. It's same account name. Again, we have to use the same. Then we have to use the user principal name. Then we have to use email. Then we have to define the path here. And the path is OU. Then we have to define the account password, like using the same thing again, convert to secure string, and the password will come from the password row from the CSV file, and the same thing we'll use here as plain text and force. Then we have to close this, and again enabled is true. So this is the command. This will create the user. This will get the data from the CSV file. Whatever users you have 10 users, 20 users, 30 users, 100 users, more than 100 users. So it will just pick up the data from the CSV file and create all the users with single command. And the method is very quickly. We don't need to go to the server and create the users one by one. Yeah, you also can disable the users as well. Like I'm just going to give you an example. So like we have to first of all get AD user. We have to define a name here. So we will use identity for that. And like identity is user is ABC, then we have to use the pipe sign, and we have to use disable AD account. So this will disable the ABC user from the on-premises Active Directory. If you want to disable the user is in bulk, then you have to use this method. Like you have to create the CSV file, and you have to use the this command, and all the users from the CSV file will be disabled automatically with a single command. So we can do the system monitoring and reporting as well with the PowerShell. So basically, we can get the various type of system information through PowerShell. So let's see some examples. Like if you want to get the operating system details, then we have to use get WMI object win32 underscore operating system. So this is the command. This will show you the details. So for some security reasons, I can hide the I will hide the these details. And the next command I'll show you is if you want to get the logical disk data through PowerShell. So we can do that also. For that, we will use get sim instance and then use the window win32 underscore logical disk. So how many logical disks you have in your computer? So you can see the data here as well. So like with this computer, I have only one logical disk. If you have more than one logical disk, the data will be appear here. So next command I'll show you get counter processor total. We have to close this, then percentage and stop. Let me show you this as well. So you can see the processor percentage here. So let's move on the next segment. Like, so you have to use CLS to clean the screen, and we can basically generate the report as well. So if you like to generate the daily, weekly, monthly, yearly reports, we can do that. So I'm just giving you an example. Like I have already told you, once we use the dollar sign, it's a variable. Like, so first of all, we have to create a variable here, like report. Then we have to use get sim instance. So like we are getting the report for logical disks, then we have to use Windows 32 underscore logical disk. Now I'm using pipeline to filter the data. So what data we need is we need select object, like we need device ID, and we need free space, and we need size. So once we run this report, this will give the data, and we can just export this as CSV file as well. So like I'm just referring the report, and we have to use the pipe sign again, and we have to use export CSV. This will help us to export the data to the CSV, and where we want to export, we have to just define the path. Like I am exporting the data in C drive, and the file name will be disk report .csv. You can change your destination according to you. Okay, so we have to remove this and like this. So this is the path, and then we have to use no type information. I think there is something wrong. So let me just export CSV. Okay, okay. Yeah, got it. So we don't need to the pipe sign here. Just C and disk report, and we are typing no type information here. So once we run this two line of code, we will get the details like device ID, free space, and size, and this report will be exported to this directory with as a basically CSV file. We can just export the reports into the HTML files as well. So like if I'm using the same variable here like report, and now we want to export this report as HTML, then we have to use convert to HTML. Then we have to use the out file. So you can see the difference where we are exporting the CSV file, then we have to use export. Now we are using the HTML format, then we have to use out file, and we have to define the path again. Like my path is again C, and the name is disk report html dot html. The HTML is the extension, and this will just export the report into the HTML format as well. So now next move to the next segment, that is called remote management. So we can access the remote through the PowerShell as well in our local environment. Like we have to copy and paste some kind of data. If you want to execute some exe files, or if you want to get some data from the remote computer, so we can also do with PowerShell. So let's start the script. So and entering to others computer, we have to use enter ps session, like ps session. Then we have to use computer name, and we have to define the computer name, like we have server 01, and we have to use the credentials. We need the admin credentials for that. So we have to just use get credentials command to pass the credentials. So this is the command. This is for the single computer. Like if you can see here, there is only one computer, server 1. If you want to access the multiple computers, then we have to use invoke command. Like if we need the get services from multiple computers or servers, then we have to use invoke command. Invoke command is basically that whatever command we give, that will execute in the remote computer. So for that we will use invoke command, and we have to use computer name again. So like we have server 01, and we have server 02. You can type multiple computers here like 02, and we have to type the command in the script block. So like we want to get the get service from the server 1 and server 2, then we have to use get service. So once we execute this command on the server 1 and server 2, we will get all the services in this PowerShell console only. So these are the sample commands, and you must remember that executing PowerShell script to the remote computers, we need to make sure that we have to enable the WinRM also. So enabling WinRM command I am also sharing here. So the command is enable PS remoting, and we can use force here. So this command must be run before executing any command and accessing any computer on the remote side. So we have to go to the remote computer one time, and we have to just enable PS remoting, so we can easily access that computers from our computer in the local network. So like if you want to deploy notepad plus plus on the remote computer, how can we do that with the PowerShell? So we'll use invoke command. Then we have to define the computer name. Like now my computer name is PC1 and PC02, and we have to use the script block, and we have to use install notepad plus plus, and we have to define y for the yes, and we have to close this. So once we run this command on the PC1 and PC2, the notepad plus plus will be installed. So this is the sample commands. So even we can get the event logs also with the PowerShell. So how can we do that? We have to use get event log. This is the command, and we have to define the log name as well. Like we need the system logs, and we can define the newest parameter. Like we need the 50 logs only. So this is the basically sample commands. You can adjust the criteria according to you. You can get the application logs, you can get the systems logs, you can define the newest parameters as well. So let me just give you one more example. So if you want to get the Windows event logs, then you have to use get win event, and then we use filter hash table like this, and we have to use log name, like log name is application like this, and we have to use level 2, and we have to close this. So this is the another command, and as I already said, we can export this data into the CSV file as well. So like if you want to export this data, so we have to just create a variable first like log, and we will get the win event. Then we'll use the filter hash table like log name is system next level 2. We have to close this. Now if you want to export this data into the CSV file, then we have to use call out the log variable, and we'll use the pipe sign, and we'll use export CSV, and we have to define the path of our CSV file like it's in C, and the file name is system logs.csv. So once we run this command, these two line of codes, this will get the Windows event logs system, and the data will be exported into the CSV file on the defined location. So these are the logs management, and we can use the network administrative tools also with this. Like we are using CMD in uh, command prompt to ping the site. Here we will use test connection like google.com. Let me just show you the run. So you can see the details here. It's pinging. So this is the command to test connection. And like in CMD, we are using ping command. It's a test connection. We can get the IP config also, like get net adapter. So this is similar to the CMD as well, but the name are the different here. So we can get the, let me just clean this again. So like now I'm using get net address. So I'm getting some error, so I'm using it again. So it's net IP address. So this is the correct command, and you have to run this, and you will get all the IP address details here. Like we are using ipconfig in command prompt, so we will get the similar details here. Let me just clean it again, and others command also are there, like get net root, like this. We can use resolve DNS name and whatever site you have, like microsoft.com. Even we can ping multiple servers as well, and we can get the details uh, through the PowerShell also. So first of all, we have to define the servers. Like we have multiple servers, DC01, like we have DC02, we have DC03, and then we have to use test connection if you want to ping the multiple servers, like test connection. And we have to use the parameters, uh, that variable we have created already, and how many counts we want. So that for use we will count 2, and what we want is select object, like we need address and the status. So we will get the set status and the address of these servers that we have defined, DC01, DC02, and DC03, into the PowerShell console here. Let's move on the next segment. For the that we have used, we need to basically add multiple modules into the PowerShell whenever we are using different kind of modules. Like for Active Directory, I have already shown in the video before. So how can we just get the list and the package of the PowerShell modules? So for that, we are using get module list available. So this is the list we will get, that how many PowerShell modules are available. So it will take some time. So let's wait for the list, or we can stop it here. Let's wait for the list. So here is the list. These are the modules available for the PowerShell. You can just install whatever module you want. So next, move to the next command. So how can we install the module? It's a simple command, install module. Then we have to define the name, like this. And like I'm installing PS Windows Update. So this is the command. I'm not going to run this, but this is the command. This will help us to manage the Windows Update on our computer or on the remote computer as well. So once we install this module, we have to import the module. So for that, we are using import module, and then we have to define the name again, and it's PS Windows Update. So this is the second command. We have to import the module. If you want to get the command from a dedicated module, that how many commands and which what commands are there on that module, that data we also can get. For that, we will use get command, and we have to define the module here. Like I'm just getting the command from Windows Update. So once we run this command, we will get all the available commands in PS module. So let me just clear this again. We are using CLS to clear this. So once we install the module, like we have installed PS Windows Update, how can we use that? So if you want to get the Windows Update in the PowerShell, we will use get Windows Update. This is the command. This will connect to the internet and show us the all the available updates on the PowerShell console. How can we install the commands? Like once we get the available updates, Then we have to use install Windows Update, accept all. If you want to reboot the system, then you have to use auto reboot. So it will get all the command, and if you have assigned accept all, the update will install and reboot the system. If you want to exclude any of the update that you have the um, article ID, then you can hide update. Then you can use hide Windows Update. You have to use KB article ID, and then you have to define the ID, whatever ID you have, like the ID is this. So we can hide this update. If you want to get the history, you can get the history also. So for that, we have used get Windows Update history. So these are the command. This will help for the Windows Update module. So let me just remove it. And if you want to install and uninstall the Windows on the remote computer, also on this local computer and the Windows computer, then also you can use the PowerShell. Like first of all, we have to use get package. This is the command. This will show you the package. If you want to install the specific package, then you have to use install package. Like if you want to install the VLC, we have to define the VLC. If you want to uninstall the VLC, then also you can use uninstall package like VLC. You want to get the product detail, you can use get VMI object. Get VMI object. Like we have to define the class, and like class is Windows 32 underscore product. So these are the commands. I think I have clear. Let me just clear this. So I hope I have covered all the things. So in this session, we explored everything from the fundamentals of PowerShell to real-world system administration tasks, including file automation, Active Directory management, reporting, remote administration, and more. By now, you should have a solid understanding of how to use PowerShell, not just a command line tool, but as a PowerShell automation engine to manage and secure your IT environment. Whatever you are working on a single workstation or hundreds of servers, PowerShell gives you the speed, accuracy, and the control every system admin needs. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow IT professionals. This is the PowerShell Playground, and I will see you in the next tutorial.